What kind of things do you do to take care of your mental health and yourself so that you when you come out into the world you are a light instead of a the opposite.
Oh my goodness. That's you know what? That's it's been a journey for me. Um, because as of probably about 3.5 months ago, I refused to have therapy or get a therapist. About
Hmm.
I've been going consistently for the last 3.5 months, and it has changed my life. So that's what I have recently did, But prior to,
Yeah.
because I have been motivating others since the year of 2000. So let's say 22 years, right? We're in 2022. So from career days to speaking in corporate to speaking in high schools, grammar schools, colleges, local colleges, colleges in other states, regardless of the audience, I've been speaking to a lot of folks on the radio when I have a radio show, when I have a TV show, speaking to a lot of people, right? So I hear
Hmm.
a lot of what is going on in others' lives, and I know what's going on in my own personal life, right? So
Hmm.
I've always believed that you have to be the message that you bring. So what has got me through the years was I have to be the message that I bring. So
Hmm.
not to say that I have been perfect, but I have been striving for perfection with hyper focus on it. So it
Hmm.
kind of limited my mistakes or pitfalls, if you will. Because I've
Hmm.
had some along the way, but it kind of reduced them because I've always been conscious of leading by example. You know, Zig Ziglar said you have to lead by example and not by explanation.
Yeah.
So because I've always felt like I was carrying the weight of a lot of people, people was counting on me to be the message that I bring. So when I did fall or fail, whether it was small or big, that's what hurted me because I felt like I let down the people who I have inspired,
Hmm.
who I had, who lied, who said that I have changed their life, and now I'm divorced, or now, I made a bad decision, you know, that impacted other people's lives. I took it kind of like wow, because it was important to me because when you find out what your life purpose is, you really want to be the best at fulfilling that purpose.
Yeah.
And I felt like not only I let down the people, that I let down God. So that motivated me even more, you know, and I just wanted to lead by example. I wanted somebody to look at my life, at Lamont Brown's life, and say, you know what, if he can do it, I can too.
Hmm.
So I read books that kept me motivated because when you hear stories of people coming out of the mud, coming out of the gutter, or have fought through some critical illnesses that should have took them out, and they fought through it.
Hmm.
Women who, you know, single parents, who fought through some stuff.
Yeah.
You have people out there who are taking care of other people's kids.
Yeah.
And they don't even have no kids they own, but they've adopted kids. They might have their sister kids who's not mentally fit, to take care of their kids. So I have used stories and books, and if I read about a story in a book, there was an author that I met who said he had a book out that's called "I'm Blind, but So What,"
Mm.
you know, and how he went on over 300 some interviews until he got a job. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things have been therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
There was an author, I can't think of her name at the time. I spoke with her on the same stage with Les Brown. She was one of Les Brown platinum speakers. But the title of her book, I would never forget because she spoke on the stage with no arms. She didn't have no arms. and the title of her book was called Unarmed and Dangerous.
Mm.
So, and then afterwards, I'm looking at her in the lobby, autographing her book because she had an ink pen stuck between her toes, and she's autographing her book with her feet with a
Yeah.
signature better than mine. You know,
Yeah.
so those stories, those
Stuff like that. Yep.
triumphant type of stories, are therapeutic.
Yeah.
But I use motivation as my therapy. Catch this, for too long. So
Yeah, I caught it.
it wasn't enough. I thought it was enough,
Yeah.
but it wasn't enough. That's why I needed real therapy.
Therapy. Let me ask you this: is it the kind of like the what am I trying to say? The stereotype of therapy for Black people, is that kind of what stopped you from going to
Yeah,
therapy?
because our therapy been church. You know, we go to church,
Yeah.
have a good time, we may get filled with the Holy Ghost,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or get in the spirit,
Yeah.
feel we're good, and that be it, right?
Yeah,
We're
that
going
stopped
to
a
a
lot of
therapy,
that
and we're like,
stopped a lot of people, and it's still stopping people from therapy. But
mhm.
I'm noticing the change, and it's making me happy that a lot of people are trying. So I need you. I want to hear everything you have to say about that, so that you can encourage, inspire another Black man or another Black woman or anybody to go to therapy, because it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's
No,
just
not
good to be able to talk to somebody. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear
absolutely,
more about
absolutely.
that.
Yes, because, and the reason why I said I use that too long, because I needed to talk to somebody. My
Mm-hmm.
mindset was like, my initial mindset was like, you know, I'm a mental beast.
Yeah.
Ain't none gonna stop me. Ain't none gonna discourage me. Ain't none gonna keep me down. And this is what I'm sharing with people. You know, I wake up every morning and I say, you know, I am successful. I'm more than a conqueror. I will not be denied. I will defy the odds because I put my trust in God. My mission is to be a faithful servant to God's people. I will serve my family first, then I will wisely serve others. I will
Mm-hmm.
help barbers and cosmetologists, you know, strive for success in every aspect of their life, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and politically. Why? Because one day I stood up and said I was going to be a man. The M stands for me meet my challenges. The A stands for me accepting my responsibilities. And the N stands for me never let anybody or anything keep me down. And even if I fall down, like my mentor Les Brown said, even if you fall down, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Now I've been saying that to myself since '98,
For years.
and
Mm-hmm.
and that was my mindset.
Yeah.
And I was saying I don't need therapy, but all I was doing was over a long period of time was suppressing some things that I needed to talk
Absolutely.
about. And
Absolutely.
then when you talking to a professional, they're able to show you their perspective, and you're able to see things that you never seen before in
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You know, and I was just reading a day earlier, you know, another quote by Les Brown, who said that you cannot see the picture if you're in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see the picture if you're in the frame. You can't, you
Yeah.
cannot. You know, so I would encourage, you know, any young person or older person to get some therapy. And I'm not trying to discount church either, because, you know, God didn't deliver me from a whole lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
discount, you know, because some people feel like you don't need therapy. You can just get it all from the church. You get filled with the Holy Ghost. You're good. I get that type of
Yeah.
thinking,
It's two
but
different things. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like first natural, then spiritual.
Yeah.
You
Um.
know, so it's like, you know, it's like if you teaching me to give and pay tithes, and I'm for it, I'm not against it, to pay tithes, then I think you should give me some financial management or uh, courses too. Give me an opportunity to learn what to do with the other 90%. How can I invest? What's this interest rate stuff? What's, you know what I mean? So give me the spiritual and the natural. I'm cool, but give me both. But I
Yep.
think, you know, and I know they have a lot of therapists in churches now too, which is cool. Uh, uh, and I want to mention this too. um, because I'm hesitating because I'm trying to think of the name of the organization, and maybe we can provide this information anybody who's interested. Okay. Okay, all right, cool. Um, is I'm gonna have to get you this name because it's so important. I just signed up last month to be. They signing up a lot of barbers to it's a mental health barber movement. So they signed up a lot of barbers and equipping barbers to recognize, mental health issues even in their clients, and not to necessarily as a therapist, but be able to be knowledgeable enough to have a conversation with them about it, especially if they feel comfortable about it, and then refer them to this non-for-profit organization. It's like they're getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of barbers by the weeks that's position themselves as a mental health liaison. So that's how important. And I joined because I'm like, this will help our community.
I like that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea because they look at you as their therapist anyway.
Hey, they talking to us about it and everything
Yeah.
anyway. You
Mhm.
know, absolutely.
What What made you finally say? Did somebody talk you into it? What made you finally say, "I'm gonna go try. I'm gonna go talk to a therapist"? What made you do that? What made you finally
Oh, sorry.
make
So
that move?
yeah. So what provoked me was having relationship issues,
Mhm.
with other women, who I was committed to, whether it was through marriage or, previous committed relationship. And, you know, I knew I had a challenge, dealing with anger and certain
Mhm.
things like that. Um, but I always felt like I was in control for the most part, which that wasn't true, right? But I said, you know what? Let me lead by example.
Mhm.
Let me make sure I'm straight, because at the end of the day, if I'm not good, then nobody who I'm with can be good,
True.
you know. And that was my whole motivation. And even if the relationship seemed like it was going bad, I wasn't doing it necessarily to save the relationship. If that happened, then that's cool.
Mhm.
But I was doing it because even if that relationship failed, I needed to be good for the next one.
Yeah. You're trying to make sure you're
you
good.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because what happens often is, we have certain traumas in our life that we experience through childhood that was never dealt with.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it peaks its head up in our adulthood, in relationships, whether it's relationships with a significant other, with our spouse, a relationship with our coworkers, a relationship with our brother, or with our sister, with our uncle, with our aunt. You know, regardless of what the relationship is, certain traumas in our childhood affects those relationships. It affects the way we communicate. It affects the way we open up or be closed up. It affects our life. So I said, you know what? I need to do this for me,
Yeah.
so that the relationships that I do have, can be healthier.
All right. That's awesome. I'm glad that you did that, and you can be a great example for others who might be considering it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, tell me about your business. Tell me more about your business and what you do on a daily, and what you offer to individuals, and I guess where you're located and things like that.
Yeah. So I'm currently in Chandler, Arizona, as a barber and as a barber teacher. I provide barbering services at Bama Barbershop, that's located 940 North Alma School Road, Chandler, AZ. And I'm currently I'm currently covering for the owner of
Okay.
Phoenix Barber School, that's located 3529 West Northern Avenue, in Phoenix, while he's out of the country. And
Uh-oh.
you know, I previously worked for Paul Mitchell Hair School back in Illinois, like I said earlier, and I've used a lot of the education that I acquired to kind of personalize and provide barber coaching, hence America's Barber Coach. And I use my life coaching certification to give me that structure to be able to actually effectively and efficiently, coach barbers on the practical side and on the barberpreneur side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important because you really cannot separate the two. But I separate the two as far as the coaching is concerned, because on the practical side, there's a lot of barbers who go through the educational system and through the trade, and they attain a license, but they might not have received proper training or enough training, but they have their license, but they still need some continual education, on certain
Yeah.
techniques, certain things, because they're coming out of school calling themselves a master barber, and they haven't even been in the industry for that long. They haven't put in. The rule of thumb
Yeah.
is, you in any industry, you put in 10,000 hours, concentrated hours, you're considered an expert. So don't as barbers, there's a bad habit, of barbers getting out of barber school and call themselves master barbers. And some states actually puts it on the
Yeah.
license as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Georgia does it. I think
Yep.
that's one of the states that does it. But I provide that practical coaching because I've been cutting hair for 36 years. Like I mentioned earlier, I started when I was 13 or 14. I've been licensed for 23 as a barber, and obviously qualified to be a master barber, not just with the time put in, but the skills as well. Because you can put in
Mm-hmm.
10 years, 15 years, and your skills looking like you just got out
Yep.
of barber school.
Yep.
So you got to have the two. So we help anybody that want to take their life, their barber life, to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Those practical services, and also on the barberpreneur side, I've owned barbershops, mobile barbershop, and I did a lot of consulting that really started during the pandemic to barbershop owners, to barbers who was undecided about whether or not they should keep their doors open or
Mm-hmm.
needed some strategy, to keep their doors open. I provided that type of barberpreneur coaching. I've had classes that's affectionately called Business Beyond the Chair.
Mm-hmm.
So in the barberpreneur coaching, uh, during that class, and these are small groups or individuals, uh, I teach them and bring to the forefront information and resources, whether it's how to properly file your taxes, uh, good bookkeeping, human resource tools for small businesses. We talk about credit building. We talk about business beyond the chair. And what I
Mm-hmm.
challenge them with is, hey, is your haircuts are tight,
Right.
crispy, but is your business as tight as your haircut?
Mm-hmm.
Most most barbers, the large majority of the barbers, they don't even know how much they're bringing in tips because they don't have no
Yep.
accounting system,
Mm-hmm.
no book. They're spending the money before it get to the bank. I had a
Yep.
barber who challenged me to track my tips. He said, for 3 months, I want you to track your tip. Since you don't know how much you make in tips, I want you to track your tip. He said, because I track my tip. And you know what I found out and what I discovered is that I was making about $1,600 to $1,800 in tips every month, and I didn't even know that. He said, so now I pay my mortgage, my car note, and my car insurance with my tip money. I'm like, wow. I said, I'm about to track my tips.
Mm-hmm.
And then most barbers don't even have a retirement investment system because on the front end, they're looking at it as a hustle. and not a profession. Now I know we got to grind, get your hustle, but don't treat the business part like a hustle.
Right.
Hustle and grind, but don't treat the business part like a hustle. And what I mean by that is, oh man, I ain't claiming. I made 80,000 last year, but I'm only gonna claim 30. You know, I get it. But if you really understood business and you had a good tax preparer or CPA, you can still claim the 80. They're gonna make sure you get all the tax deductions, which is gonna reduce your taxable income, and you only gonna pay the average business owner probably pay on between 3 to 10% in taxes anyway. It's the W-2 employees that's paying an actual 30 to 33% in taxes, right? So it's a way that you can take advantage of it and benefit from it, because most barbers is piggybacking off of their girlfriend or their spouse. They on their health insurance or their life insurance, you know, and then when they lose their job or whatever, or they in between jobs, now they don't have any insurance no more because they depend on their wife. Or since they only claim 30,000, they really can't go get the house that they really want to buy because they don't make enough income, or they, you know what I'm saying? It's like you preventing from yourself from growing because you treating it like a hustle.
Yeah.
So even as a booth renter, I encourage booth renters to get an LLC. Even before they get, even if they have inspiration, if they're inspired or have aspirations to get their own barbershop or salon, even before you get to that level, you should be coming out of barber school, graduating, getting your license. The very next day you have your license, or before you get your license, you should have an LLC.
Yeah.
So that way you can take full advantage of all the tax deductions that's out there. You can take some, you know, as a sole proprietor, you can do this, you do that. But no, you need to get the same tax deductions as a Fortune 500 company is getting. So that's a lot of barberpreneurship. And I don't speak on all these subjects as an expert. I bring in experts, you know, part of my team to expound on the things that I know about mutual funds and how barbers can take $200 to $300 of their tip money every month that they didn't even know that they was getting anyway, and investing in a mutual fund every month that's after year 5 or year 6 or year 7, that compound interest start to acting crazy and growing. And then you're in year 10 and you got $250,000 sitting there. But if you ain't investing into your retirement, you know, and you ain't filing taxes, so if you ain't filing taxes, that means your money, real money, not going into even into your Social Security. So you have barbers been in the game 15, 20, 25, 30 years, no retirement.
Yep.
Because they wasn't investing, you know, because they was trying to either didn't know or didn't want to know, or thinking they beating the system, and then they look up and they can't even afford to retire. So who got beat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are services that, you know, that's come with America's Barber Coach, you know, and we have coaching packages, you know, for the student barber, the beginning barber, the intermediate barber, and the master barber, and coaching packages for barbershop and beauty salon owners.
That's definitely a need. It's a huge need for that. That's a huge
Absolutely.
need.
Absolutely. Because I've been to a lot of the trade shows. I've been to Brown Brothers. I've been to, you know, the premiere in Orlando. I've been to the Proud Lady when that exists in Chicago.
Me too.
And,
I missed that.
the ABS, you know, American Beauty Show. I've been to a lot of the, you know, shows. So I'm meeting barbers and talking to barbers from other cities, other states, other countries, and a lot of barbers have those bad habits, those bad business habits. You know, they don't have any best practices. So I know there's a need out there, and we have been satisfying a lot of those needs, you know, to certain barbers who don't mind investing in themselves. The biggest investment anybody can make is in themselves, you know. And I always say, you know, a lot of times we pay more for what we put in our head. I mean, on our head versus what we put in our head.
Until you get a mentor, somebody teaching you, then you can do better.
Absolutely. Everybody need a coach.
You gotta
Michael
invest
Jordan
in
had a
yourself.
coach. You know what I'm saying? Larry Bird had a coach. You know, Kobe had a coach. Shaq had a coach. AI had a coach. Everybody had a coach.
And coaches have
You
coaches.
know, Tiger Woods had a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody need a coach.
Yep.
Coach gonna bring out the best in you and see some things in you that you can't see in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and they gonna hold you accountable. That's
Yep.
that part right there. That accountability. That's a beast right there. That's a beast. Most people don't want to. Most people want to be independent because they don't want to hold themselves accountable. So when they get to work late, knowing that early is on time and on time is late,
Mm-hmm.
and you got some your accountability team. You got 2, 3, 4, 5 people saying, "Hey, I know you said being on time was one of your challenges going into 2023. Did you get to work on time this week? How many times were you on time? How many times you late? You're gonna get tired of hearing them calls saying, yeah, I was late. Yeah, I was late. Yeah, you're gonna start ignoring calls. You're gonna get yourself together with that
Mm-hmm.
accountability. You know, that's one
Yep.
of the most powerful components in my book that I wrote. That's called From the Streets to the Stage, Learning ABCs of Success. I talked about, being accountable and having an accountability team to help you, get to success. And that's that post I made. I said a few days ago, you can go fast alone, or you can go far together. That includes your accountability team.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nobody nobody that's like ultra successful has done it alone, or most of them have had coaches and mentors,
Absolutely.
have paid a lot of money to become what they are today. They invested in themselves. Yep.
Absolutely. My coach, who took me through the life coaching training years ago, was Dr. Michael J. Duckett, out of Georgia, and he flew to Chicago, had a weekend course, and it was powerful. But he said he has a coach because one of the questions that came up in the training class was an integrity question, and they said, well, if we're working on ourselves in these areas, so we can experience our own personal growth, how can we coach others if we're not together in all these major categories of our life? How can we coach others? And the answer was so powerful. He said, because the person said, wouldn't that be lack of integrity? His answer was, as long as you're making diligent, consistent improvements in your personal life with your coach, you have integrity.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because I have a coach. He said, it's when you're attempting to coach and you don't have a coach. Because what you're saying at that time is you don't need a coach. And you asking somebody to pay you for some coaching services, and you ain't even paying somebody else for some coaching services, because none of us is perfect.
Right.
We're trying to grow together.
Mm-hmm.
Even our therapist is not perfect,
Oh, yeah.
but they
Yeah.
know enough in that industry as a professional to help you.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share or talk about, that I should know about, that I missed? Anything else?
Well, not necessarily, but the business beyond the chair that I mentioned, the class I used to do,
Mm-hmm.
I converted it to a podcast that's called
Okay.
Business Beyond the Chair, and sharing
Okay.
the same information basically, but just in a visual, audio, reachable way, throughout the World Wide Web, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm entering into my second season, actually officially this upcoming Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right.
Okay.
That's this upcoming Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. and I'm having it broadcasting it live during my networking event. I have a
Okay.
network organization called The Connection. This is my second one in Arizona. It's in Chandler, Arizona, and it's going to be at Revive Chandler, which is a nice coffee house, um, right on the corner of Alma School and Ray Road, right next to this big fitness center called Vasa Fitness, right? So I'm gonna be there, but we're gonna broadcast Business Beyond the Chair live there, you
Okay.
know. So check out my social media pages at America Barber Coach, and you will see the details. It's gonna be lit. It's the second season, episode 1. It's gonna be lit, giving a lot of information and resources. I love putting entrepreneurs in a room with resources because there's a special kind of magic that
Oh
takes
yeah.
place. We're gonna have DJs. It's gonna be live. We got some vendors. I'm excited about it. We got some attorneys, some CPAs is gonna be in the room, some investors, some other business owners, small business owner, large business owner, and we coming together, to make it happen. One raindrop can't cause a flood, but when you put a whole lot of raindrops together, we can do some damage.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we plan on doing. So uh, that is what I have on the horizon. That's fastly approaching, and one of the reasons why I decided to do it in December is because I strongly believe that we shouldn't wait till January 1st to come up with a New Year's resolution
Oh yeah.
or to come
Yeah.
up with, or I'm going to hit the reset button. I believe in building momentum going into the new year. Don't wait till January 1st to go get you a membership at a gym. You should have started last month or start today.
Start
You
today.
know,
Absolutely.
I have made the most
Absolutely.
money and have been the most productive during the last quarter of my years. So
Mhm.
so October, November, December, because I hyper focused on building momentum going into the new year, and it has done me well over the years. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to have my second networking event, you know, in December, here in the AZ, and I'm looking to do some powerful things next year. My book will be coming out, for barbers and cosmetologists. I'm excited about that. I'm gonna start back speaking in the schools next year because they're opening back up more to consultants and speakers
Mhm.
and trainers. And so I'm a relaunch my grooming our future campaign as far as speaking in the schools. So this is how dope it is. Check this out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have the whole barber chair on the stage, and I'm gonna have a student from the audience getting his haircut while I'm delivering the most powerful motivational speeches that God is going to share with me. He's going to give me some downloads from
Yep.
heaven, and I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to watch him move. But I'm going to be doing my thing. It's going to be a barber chair on the stage, and the whole vision is grooming our future. Not only am I grooming that head and the haircut, but I'm helping to groom our future with the powerful words, that God is going to give me to speak.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to I'm excited about launching that because I've already tapped into a couple of school districts out here. I'm cutting the hair of some of the principal here, and we're gonna get it cracking.
Okay.
We're gonna get it cracking.
All that sounds exciting. Do you have
And
help? Do you have any help? You sound like you need help.
I need some help. I'm constantly building a team. I'm constantly building a team. So I need administrative help. I need uh well, let me take that back. I just signed a contract with someone a few
Mhm.
days ago. I'm waiting to see if these first tasks if she gonna meet the deadline of these first tasks. She might get fired. I might keep on board. She a cool person. She cool people, you know. But you know, I definitely need some help.
Yeah.
You can't build what I'm about to build,
I know how
you
it
know,
is. That's why I'm like, you sound like you need a
without
lot of
any help.
help when you trying to
Yeah,
do a lot of great things.
because I have a nice team, but I need that team to be multiplied by at least three, right?
Mm.
Uh, so I got a good 7, 8 people strong, but I need about
7,
24.
8 more.
Yeah, yeah.
15.
Because here's the deal. Because you know, I didn't even mention that I'm relaunching next year my mobile barbershop business.
Yeah, that's
You
a
know, so
lot.
if there's any barbers out there want to get some of this money, we about to get this bread. I ain't even talking about 6 figures. We about to get this money. And what I love about the geographical area that I'm in is in Arizona, in Chandler, Arizona. Of course, there's a lot of cities that meet my target market, my demographics that I was looking for. You know, whether it's Scottsdale, whether it's Paradise Valley, you know, whether it's Glendale, whether it's Tempe, you know, whether it's Mesa. You know, there's certain areas. There's a lot of other cities in this area that we're gonna capitalize on, right? And before I leave from talking about this area, the Super Bowl is gonna be here in February 2023. So you're talking about my mobile barber service kicking off right before then, you know, to take
Mm.
advantage of that. Then the Super
Yeah.
Bowl is actually going to be in Vegas in 2024, which is leads me to the geographical area that I'm in because we're 4.5 hours from Vegas. We 6 hours and 15 minutes from Los Angeles. You know, we 6 hours away from Santa Monica, California. We 5.5 hours from San Diego, California. We 3 hours away from Rocky Point, Mexico. We 6 hours away from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we 6 hours away from Colorado Springs. So we sitting in the middle
Of
of a lot of
everything.
money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we can hit them pop-up shops every as far as in them other surrounding cities. While we killing Arizona, we hitting pop-up shops every weekend in all them other cities. I can't make all this money by myself. I need to
Yeah.
connect with some barbers that want to make, you know, a strong 6 figures,
Yeah.
you know, or some partners, you know what I'm saying, that want to make some investors that want to make some bread because the business plan is rolled out.
Mhm.
This ain't nothing that's been thrown together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. You got a lot going on.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
lot happening.
absolutely. And this what keep me going. This
Oh
what keep me
yeah.
driving a lot. You know,
Yeah.
and I have to do it. You know, because I'm compelled to do it. I'm compelled by something deeper than
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm compelled by a cause.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really compelled by a cause. You know, I have a goal to build a indoor baseball dorm with restaurant concessions and local businesses in my hometown in Harvey, Illinois.
That sounds nice.
To give back to my community. That's
Yeah.
why I began to dream. I began to dream on that baseball field. That's where it started for me. And that field hasn't been utilized in years. You know, I need baseball help save my life, help keep me, you know, out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Are you
So
talking
I
about
got
that?
some big, yeah.
Are you talking about that field? I don't know if we're talking the like. No, I don't think that's the same one.
By them
Like a
tracks,
hundred.
by them railroad track,
I
down
don't think
from
I'm
Thornton
talking
High
think about
School.
the same one. I don't think I'm thinking about the same one. The one that I'm
Oh,
thinking
okay.
about is like when you get off the toll road, it's like a field, a baseball field. I think it's like
Yeah,
147. That's the right one?
yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's the right
I know
one.
exactly what you're
Yeah, get
talking
off
about.
toll
Okay.
road, slide right down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you know,
Okay.
I got to impact. I got to impact generations. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so 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 the money is not necessary. All it's not really all for me. I ain't gonna be able to spend it all while I'm here. The type of money I plan on making. You know, I remember I read an article. I think it was in an Ebony magazine. This was probably over 10 years ago, but it was an article about Master P, and they was talking to him about. He was talking to them about how he turned $10,000 into $100 million.
Mm.
You know, when he had his record shop, and I think he got some money from his grandmother, you know, when she passed, and he invested into what he was doing, selling CDs out the car, you know, out the trunk, and sleeping sleeping in the record shop over many nights. Him and his family, I think, you know, was mentioned. You know, but the thing that was most powerful in that article, see, that's why you have to have vision. You have to have vision. Helen Keller said, "There's only one thing that's worse than being blind, and that's having eyesight with no vision."
Mm.
So you have to have vision, right? And he had vision. In that article, he said that he was building something that can last 100 years, so that when people see his children, they will say, "Hey, there go one of the Millers."
Hmm. Yeah.
We know, you know, we familiar with the Rockefellers. We familiar with the Fords, the DuPonts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we familiar with all them folks. You know, who made millions and billions. We familiar with their family, the Kennedys. We familiar with
Yeah.
all these families that made millions. Every time a lot of people born into these families, the day they born into $1 million or more. You
Yeah.
know, what's wrong with us setting up things like that for our family? You know, creating generational wealth. You know, that's going to be still generating. I plan on
Mm-hmm.
creating strong absentee ownership systems with all that I'm doing, all that I got going on. I'm not going to be a part of it day to day,
Right.
because wealthy people build businesses. They shift from. Robert Kiyosaki talked about this in his book, the cash flow quadrant. You know, the difference between being an employee, being self-employed, being a business owner, and being an investor. We live in a self-employment our whole life and never benefit from it. We might have flexibility in our schedule, but we wearing 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 different hats. So we still don't end up having a whole lot of time to spend with our family like we
Yep.
want.
Yep.
We may have a little more time because we're not working for somebody, but a lot of times we don't accumulate the wealth, because there's only so much wealth you can accumulate by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
J. Paul Getty was one of the first recorded billionaires in the United States, and he said, "I would rather make 1% of 100 people efforts than to make 100% of my own." He said, "Because if I'm responsible for 100% of my income, if something happened to me, then my income stopped. But if I
Mm-hmm.
got 100, if I got 99 other people responsible for income and something happened to me, I still making 99% of my income."
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So we have to create systems,
Yep.
turnkey operating systems that can generate thousands of dollars a month without you. I
Absolutely.
don't plan on being a day to day. You know, when I open up a barber school, I don't plan on being day to day with this mobile barber business that's going to grow and generate millions and millions of dollars. I don't plan, but I'm gonna create. Ray Kroc, the owner of McDonald's, Ray and John Kroc, they passed a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? McDonald's still running, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Running by mostly teenagers because they created a system.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so many other franchises have duplicated those systems. Why shouldn't we duplicate these systems that work? That's what I'm on.
Okay. Okay. Just make sure you get some help.
Oh, absolutely. I have to. I have to. And Anthony Robbins, I think he said he has over 200 businesses. But
Oh
he talks
God.
about the power of team.
Yeah.
He said, I
Yeah.
mean, together everyone achieves
Mm-hmm.
more. But he talks about the
Mm-hmm.
power of that,
Mm-hmm.
creating those
Yep.
systems. That's a true business owner. Now you can Start investing some money. Now your money, you got people making money for you, and then you got your money making money for you.
Money
You
making money.
start,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's to me, that's the American dream. And I would just like to leave with the affirmation that I mentioned, earlier in the interview, because it's important. And I'm leaving it because I want to encourage people to create their own affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Create your own positive thing that you will say to yourself every day. Because when nobody's around, and you're crying in the dark, you know, you can encourage yourself. Men cry in the dark too, but you can encourage yourself. Even David in the Bible encouraged himself in the Lord, when things got real hard for him, you know, uh, and that's what I do, and you should do it too, because it helped me tremendously over the years, you know, and of course I'm talking to the barbers and cosmetologists who watching, but like I always wake up, and say to myself, you are successful, you're more than a conqueror, you will not be denied, you will defy the odds because you put your trust in God. My mission is to be a faithful servant of God's people. I'm gonna serve my family first, then I'm gonna wisely serve, strive for success in every aspect of their life, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and politically. Why? Because one day I stood up and said I was going to be a man. And the M stands for me meeting my challenges, the A stands for me accepting my responsibilities, and the N stands for me never letting anybody or anything keep me down. And even when I fall down, like my mentor Les Brown say, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. It's time to get up.